Hello there. I'm going to walk you through getting a 3270 terminal emulator configured on a Linux machine. Now, there's about 1,000,001 ways you can configure a Linux system. So what you're seeing here probably won't look like your system, but I'm just going to cover the basics. You should be able to figure it out. We're going to start from a terminal, and I'm just going to type sudo apt-get install x3270. That x3270 is the package you want to get. And if you have a system that uses apt, you can use that. If you use RPMs, you can do that. If you use something else, then you'll have to use that something else. But the package we're using here is x3270. I'm going to get some prompts about how much space it's going to take up. I've already accepted those, but you might be prompted for those. I'm going to clear the screen and then launch it by typing x3270. The first thing I'm going to do is go into options and change the screen size to the Model 2 setting. This is more like a 16 by 9 screen. You can, of course, use whatever you want, but because I'm using a lower resolution here to fit this on the screen, this is what I'm going to use to make it fit. And now I'm going to go into Connect and enter in the host name or the IP address of the system that I want to connect to. The IP that I'm putting here is for one of my systems. It might not be the one that you're trying to connect to, so consult the email or web page or whatever provided you with the login information for your system. So now we're all connected, but it looks pretty small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to Options and go into Font and change this from an 8-point font to a 16-point font. And that looks a little bit better to me, a little easier to read. And we can start logging in by typing in the bottom left corner of the screen right here. Make sure your cursor is there. And if it's not there automatically, use the Tab key to get there. That'll cycle through the fields where you can actually enter information. Don't use the arrows or your mouse. Use the Tab key. And I'm going to log on by typing logon, L-O-G-O-N, space, and then my user ID. Now, this is my user ID. It is probably not the same as your user ID. So again, refer to the email or web page or wherever you got your logon information. And then I'm going to hit enter. Here we're being prompted for our password. Again, make sure your cursor is in the right spot. Don't use your arrows or mouse to get there. Your password will not show up when you type it. And when you're done, hit enter. Next, we'll see this screen. This is just saying this is the user ID we're trying to log into, and this is the stuff we're trying to do. That looks good to me, so let's hit enter. And now it's saying our current password has expired. That's because the password you were given is set to automatically expire the first time you log in. You need to make up a new 8-character password. So again, make sure your cursor is over here where it should be, and start typing an 8-character password. Hit enter. And now it says re-enter the new password in the new password field for verification. That's the same password. It just wants to make sure you're not making any mistakes. Type it again and hit enter. And now the screen goes away and we get some red messages. That second line says logon in progress. That's good. That means the system is getting ready for us. We just get to sit tight and wait for it to be ready. A couple seconds later, we get this screen right here with those 3 stars at the bottom. Whenever you see 3 stars at the bottom of the screen is holding for you. It says, I want to make sure you see this. When you're done, hit enter. So we're going to hit enter and move on to the next page. By the way, whenever you see that X in the bottom of the screen, that means you're waiting for the system to do something. And here we are. We're in ISPF. We're ready to rock and roll. The next thing we're going to do is just go up to File and go down to Save Changed Options. That saves the window size and font size settings, so we don't have to change that anymore. And if you do change it and you want that to stick, just do this again. It's going to prompt us for a profile session file name. Unless you have a good reason, just take the default. And you can actually get started right now, or you can disconnect and come back later. If you want to disconnect, move your cursor down to the option field, again using your tab key, and type =X. And you can see from the messages that it is logging off and you are logged off. Now down here it says not connected because we're not connected anymore. And if we want to connect again, we can actually go up to the connect option and you can see the IP address is saved in there. I can just click on that and I'm all ready to go. And there you are. You're all set. Good luck and have fun.